like how do you do? I need a little liquor in me just to set the mood. And I don't mean to be rude or even act.
Step off the main street and you'll discover hidden laneways full of funky bars, cool dining and street art. But laneways are making a name for themselves in an unexpected way, as beautiful landscape spaces bringing life to the heart of the city.
Turn the bass up. Girl, put your face up.
Laneways can be notoriously difficult for creating a thriving garden. So all those things that your plants need, like soil, sun and water, can be in short supply. Plus, you're working with a narrow area. So the solution here has been to design these long, narrow planter boxes and then fill them with Boston ivy, which is self-clinging, so you can see it's softening that brick wall beautifully. And of course, it changes with the season. So in autumn, this would be a wall of colour. Now, this whole concept was originally kick-started by the City of Melbourne, but since then, the residents have just embraced the whole idea. They even nurture and maintain the space, and they've added their own special touches. So the result is this eclectic mix of pots and plants like geraniums and liriopes and mother-in-law's tongue, all just providing great personality in this space. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Mel. How you going?
Good. So you were the designer working on this whole concept with council. It's a pretty unique space to garden in. What were some of the challenges of a laneway?
There's no water here, there's no soil here. You know, these are the critical factors. This is really proven to be a place where people want to come to and be in, and the residents here just thrive.
I'm loving some of the quirky features that are going on here.
It feels like it's just found, right? It looks a little kind of rustic, doesn't it? Like
Yeah,
it
it
feels,
does.
feels like it was meant to be here.
Yeah, it really suits the space.
Right throughout here, you can see pots at ground level, as well as window boxes, and we've even got a couple of little green roofs in the laneway. So really, plants are growing at multiple levels across the laneway.
And tell me, what is going on here?
Okay, so these were a really unique feature that had never been done before. There's a little trench down the bottom here that's been designed to really put a volume of soil down there like a planter box and essentially grow this much foliage, Trachylispermum or star jasmine, with a downpipe that actually waters it. So we're getting nature to do the feeding and watering of our plants.
So it's like a drain garden then?
That's exactly what it's called.
This is life. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna breathe, I'm gonna fly.
And I'm loving the way the street art really merges with the greenery.
It's incredible, isn't it? The leaders of this place describing a story to an artist, and then the artist sort of embellishing the laneway with another layer of artwork.
Yeah, it really just works, that whole garden and art thing. I think in this space for me too, there really is that blurring of the line between garden and architecture. And I know that living architecture is something you specialise in. I'd really like to see some of the other stuff you're working on. What a beautiful spot you're in.
Just an amazing big space for us to do what we do.
And look at this.
Yeah, well, that's one of our things. So green walls and green roofs. One very simple watering system. So there's a trough filled with water. That's actually dishcloth or microfiber, and it just runs up the back of the system.
I know.
It's just incredible.
And when you use one species like that, it really does look like a green wall, doesn't it?
Yeah, really effective. So this particular species, Philodendron superatom, just works so well because of the size, the shape, and the colour is spectacular.
So if it's a contained system and there's no drips, I guess you could use it indoors.
Absolutely. So in the studio, we've got a little one here up on the wall. That whole frame is filled with water, about 12 weeks worth. So it's really self-sustaining, really simple, and great office environment to have plants inside.
They look like pretty happy workers. Well, I can't wait to see what other innovative things you've got.
We're working on one amazing project. We're growing a meadow.
All right, now I'm intrigued.
So this is our meadow lab. We call it Metro Meadow. Essentially, we're trying to test everything: shade, sun, soils, plants, everything.
So what sort of species are you working with?
It's a really interesting mix of Australian natives. So this is a Microlina weeping grass. And it's a great meadow plant because it can actually be stomped on. And we've got brachyscomes flowering in this meadow. We're also using things like Weilenbergia stipandra. These are a bit more complex species, but they grow really well in this type of environment. We're developing something that is so simple to install. Cut it out, roll it up, put it on a pallet, take it to the job site, roll it back out, just like instant turf. Essentially, the roots are growing through this mat. It holds the root systems together, and essentially it just degrades over time as the plants take over and the root systems bond together and give you this instant meadow.
So what sort of environmental impact would this have on your roof?
To put a soil volume with plants on top and water inside means that these little plants, these things that we normally use in our gardens, are now little evaporative coolers on our roofs. We're actually being able to cool our local environments with plants. Can you imagine it? At the end of the day, just sitting up on your rooftop with a little glass of wine or beer in your hand, this is a brilliant feeling.
That would be a nice place to be at the end of the day.